Hello, hello, and welcome to the Introvert Social Hour. My name is Kavana, and today we are talking about like the mid-year movie recap of it all. What have we watched so far this year of 2026? What are we excited to watch for the rest of 2026? Our thoughts on things, and I'm so excited to bring back one of my favorite, possibly my only film friends, but my favorite, one of my favorite film friends of all time. To be honest, I don't know if you know, I'm a huge fan of you, Isaiah.
Oh, thank
I
you.
I've
I
been a
appreciate
fan
that.
since we've known each other. I just think you have such cool knowledge, and you're such a cool person. But I brought Isaiah back to the pod. Welcome back,
Dude,
Isaiah.
thanks for having me. I'm always enjoying my time here. I'm like I look forward to it whenever you send me the email and text me. I'm like, "Oh, dude, I'll definitely hop on. This is always a good time." And it's like
Yeah.
an excuse to talk about movies and TV and stuff. So, no, I love this.
Right. Yes. No, listeners out there, y'all should go back to some episodes. We've talked about TV shows before as well, and things like that. I always like to mention because I feel like it's like one of the memories I have. My Marvel knowledge exists because of Isaiah.
Wait,
So
really?
yes. So I don't know if you remember it. We were in the back when we, as college ambassadors, we were in the back of the room instead of like doing. We were working office, and we got put on some kind of paper duties or whatever. We were just working our shift in the back,
Yeah.
and I was like, I've never watched any of the Marvel films. And he was like, oh my gosh. Like, and so you started breaking it down from like
Wait, this is
top to
so
bottom.
funny. I like don't remember this one. That's so funny. Oh my
No,
gosh.
that's why I think I have it in my head. 'Cause I'm like, you're the reason why I know. And I was able to watch End Day or Endgame. My bad.
Uh-huh.
Oopsie. There we go. Endgame without having to watch the previous ones.
Oh
And then
my
I was able to like
gosh.
jump into Black Panther and have some kind of the when they kind of blended some things in there and stuff like that. But yeah, because I still have yet to watch all of the Marvel films.
Hey, it's too long at this point, man. Like skip jump where you can at this point.
Literally, because also speaking of movies coming out this year, Doomsday.
Dude,
So
no, for real. It's a
yeah,
lot of stuff coming up, but oh my gosh, no.
it
Yeah,
is.
excited to be back here and talk about movies and stuff.
Yes. So I gotta know because we haven't talked about it yet.
Hmm.
What have you been watching? What's been kind of like, have you been kind of checking off movies throughout the year a lot? Have you been in the theaters a lot, or has like streaming services kind of been like a good go to as well for you?
No, totally. I'm a very big like proponent and like supporter of like the theaters, right? I'm a
Mhm.
as a proud AMC A-lister, I love
Yes.
going to my movies. I honestly think like in today's just economy, it's one of the most like useful and worth things. I'm like, dude, you could see
Yes.
4 movies a week. Like that's crazy. So
Hmm.
yes, I go to the movies very, very often. Streaming, I'm here and there. Like I'll jump on if I miss something in the theaters, but for the most part, I am like very diehard theater goer. Uh, it was funny. I think was it last year or 2 years ago now. I jumped on Letterboxd, and I don't know if you're familiar with like Letterboxd.
Sabrina made me get on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
amazing. It's basically
Yes.
for people who don't know what Letterboxd is. It's basically like Yelp but for movies. But
Mhm.
I like to use it as like a tool. Like I as a like a
Ooh.
writer director, I'm a very oh let me like mark all the movies I've seen. Let me make lists of things that I can reference back, things that I should remember about a movie so I can come back and like while I'm
Mhm.
writing something or referencing it.
Nice.
But years ago, I really became obsessed with like trying to watch everything that I could and like really round out my knowledge. And so I think it was like, yeah, like 2 years ago, I made it a point to try to watch 1,000 movies. Not like in a year, but like
Mhm.
get to 1,000 movies in my lifetime. And so
Mm.
by doing that, I think that year I watched like 130 movies or something like that. And it really opened my eyes to like watch a bunch of things. Like it changed the way I watch things. I really enjoyed how much I do it, and like now every year I just look forward to like seeing how many things I can watch, and I'll pretty much watch anything. If people recommend it, I'll like watch it.
Yeah.
And so it's like
Wow.
it's been really nice. I think before I was very much like, oh, I know what I like, and I'm going to stick to that. But now I'm just like, oh, I'll like try that movie. Like, sure, rom com down. Like, let's do it. Like, I think there's something very special about, especially being like a writer director, like just being a sponge to like absorb as many different pieces of media as possible, to
Yeah.
like make the most round story you can. But yeah, I go to the movies very often to kind of go back to it. I think this year in general has been a very interesting year for watching movies. I think especially like all the ones coming out that have come out this year and will come out this year. I think it's been yeah, a very cool time to be a fan of film and like cinema.
Mhm. Yeah, I was wondering about that because even for me, just as like a I also a fellow AMC A-lister, you know.
Dude, we know
Hmm.
Nicole Kidman, she got us.
She got us, you know. Heartbreak feels good in a place
Yeah,
like this, you know.
absolutely.
Um, I really do enjoy. I've been really kind of just like diving into. I have. Am I even? I'm not even using my 4 movies a week, but I'm like I have the movies there. So I'm like,
Exactly.
even if it's not 100% to my interests, I'm like, you know what? I love a movie moment. Let me get some popcorn. I got the popcorn pass too this year. I was like, oh,
Dude,
feeling
no.
fancy.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just go watch the movie and see. So I like that of it kind of opening up the options and versus
Hmm.
like for me, I think on the opposite end, I'm probably for sure going to a rom com, not going to a horror. And now
Yeah.
it's like even this year, for example, I watched Obsession and I was
Dude,
like,
no, for real.
whew, you know.
I think
So
it's been really cool because I think just having these subscription passes like A List has
mhm.
really changed the way people go to the movies. 'Cause I think before it was like, hey, Spider-Man's coming out. I'm gonna go check that out for sure. Like, and I think for most people, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go during the summer, and then that's kind of it, right? But now people are going with A List. It's like, oh, I have 4 a week, and that's like if you count it, it's like 16 a month. So it's like, oh, what? I'll like just pop by the theater and like watch that thing on a random Tuesday night. It's like,
Yeah.
why not? I'm already paying for it and it's like available to me. So I think it's
Mhm.
been really cool, and it I think inspires me as a filmmaker too, that like, hey, people are willing to try different things. I think before it was like people very averse or like, oh, you have to inspire people to go to the theaters. But now with A-List, it's like, hey, you might as well. Like, just why not pop by and like spend 2 hours doing this thing instead of like the 2 hours you might be scrolling on TikTok anyways, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny. So AMC, if you're happening to watch this or listen out there, sponsor,
No,
sponsor
absolutely,
us.
bro. I'm telling you, man.
Not a sponsor, but you can.
It's the like the Church of AMC. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like when you become an A-lister, you push it on your friends and you're like evangelizing. You're like, listen, it's the greatest deal ever. Like, you need to do this. You're gonna
Yeah.
watch more things. It's gonna be so much fun. And then once they get in, they're like, wait, this is life changing. And they start
And
telling
then
all their friends, and it's like,
mhm.
it's a great time.
The lovely thing, I always love it because they're like, oh, AMC, like people think, oh, you have a pass, you're balling. I was like, it's actually like way better because apparently, like I saw when I went to see Sinners last year and I could
Hmm.
not. It was really hard to get tickets, and I went to go see it in IMAX 70 millimeter, and so my friend had to buy the ticket because they were able to get inside of the actual
Exactly.
ticket purchase.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I said, how much that ticket costs? It
Exactly.
was almost $30 for one ticket.
No,
That's my
legitimately.
pass.
So it's like it's funny because I tell people too. I'm like, my whole spiel is like, guys, for the price of 1.5 movies, you could pretty much like a month. Like, how many times you go to the movies? Like, sometimes during the summer, you're like, oh, I'll
Summer.
show up like 3 or 4 times in the month, and I'm like, dog, that's already like money you could have saved. Like, all
Hmm.
that money could have been towards your snacks. Like, come on,
Literally.
we could be doing this efficiently, and we could be watching more things and like culturing ourselves. Like, this could be a really fun time.
Yeah. Now it's like AMC also it's like perfect marketing because it's like we've hired our members to
No,
also
absolutely.
market this for us. But it's true. I always tell people I'm like I love that you do the 1.5. I say at least 2 movies and you're good for
No,
the month. That's
yeah,
my
yeah,
challenge for
yeah.
myself. At least see 2. I told myself I'd watch. So now you're inspiring me because I told myself I'd watch at least 24 this year.
Yeah.
But like I think I'm gonna surpass that because I'm already at almost 20, which is really
Dude.
cool.
Yeah, no,
So
that's so exciting. Oh my god, I
yeah.
love that. It makes me like so happy to know that like audience members are coming back to theaters and people are like actually trying their best to um like go back. I think I saw a statistic somewhere. I can't like don't quote me on this, but I
Mhm.
think it was that like this summer was the highest number of theater goers since COVID. And it was like it
I
was
can
kind of
see that
crazy.
though.
It was kind of crazy because it's like, oh, a lot of people are talking about things. There are movies that are inspiring people to come out to the theaters again.
Mhm.
And it's like become a huge conversation in the
Yeah.
culture. Like, I think that's
Mhm.
the been like such a really cool thing. Like the fact that film as a whole has become again a cornerstone of like media and with like what people are discussing in pop culture, I think is just really exciting.
Yeah. It's fun because one, it's another way of like stimulating conversation. But I think the best time for Letterbox to exist,
No,
actually, you know.
absolutely, absolutely.
So I was like, so that's why Sabrina convinced me. At first, I was like, I trying to track my movies on my planner, but I was like, you know what? And then people see each other's commentary, so it's another form in
Yeah.
a way of low key social media, but more so just like being able to just talk about film and have fun talking about film.
No,
And
totally.
yeah, more interesting. So speaking of like it being the biggest, like one of the biggest, seasons potentially, I trust you on that one because we've had such huge like box office hits this year too, where like there's films that are making like huge numbers. I am curious of like, what were your impressions of the movies that have been released so far this year? What were some standouts to you that are kind of still stuck with you? Or also any like recent, hits for you? I'm curious with
Yeah.
that as well.
No, totally. I mean, I think in general, this year has been filled with a lot of surprises I think people weren't expecting. And I think that's
True.
been very cool and very exciting. Um, I mean, like the elephant in the room, like Obsession was massive, right? Like it's crazy that a movie that was made for like so little money, um, like made like, like tenfold the amount, and it was
Yeah.
made with like indie sentiments and just like indie filmmaking, and people have been drawn to that and have been like
Mm.
very inspired by that. So it's been really cool to kind of see these movies that otherwise like we would not have thought to be these like massive smashes be like the big things. And like
Mhm.
obviously we have our things that we kind of knew would do really well, like our Project Hail Marys
Oh yeah.
and our like
Devil Wears
like Devil
Prada,
Wears
something like that.
Prada, Hoppers kind of situations.
Hmm.
Could just like I guess the general nature of whether that be the studio that people trust, like a Pixar, or
Hmm.
just like the filmmakers or like a previous kind of like IP. I think that's like a really big thing. But
Hmm.
I think what's been really exciting this past year is it's been kind of a mix between like original IP and like pre-existing IP. And I
Hmm.
think that's been the thing that I've kind of been looking for. I used to be very like I used to be a really big stickler on like, oh, I think audiences are feeling the fatigue of like reboots, remakes, and sequels. And I think there is something true about that. And like
Hmm.
people like eh, being very averse to like pre-existing like properties. But I do think now I've kind of like changed the tune that I kind of march to, which is that I think it's not so much original things that people are looking for. I think it's original voices that people are looking for. It's how can you say like I don't know, for example, the Odyssey coming out, right? How
Hmm.
can like we've all know that story. We learned it in seventh grade and like we studied it and we did all the things for it, right?
Yeah.
Um, we know it, but like, how can we retell that with a fresh voice? And it's like, oh, Chris Nolan is the guy to do that, right? It is really cool to kind of see films that, and maybe some things that we didn't know were based off of certain intellectual properties that we feel are original. It's like, oh, they're just fresh voices that are kind of coming through and telling something in a way that we never would have otherwise thought ourselves to kind of experience. So I think that's been like a really cool thing to kind
Yeah.
of understand and to hear about too. Um, yeah, like I don't know. It's just it's been really a really fun time in that way.
Mhm. Well, I'm curious because you said that, and my brain even thought of like, so one of my favorite films I've watched this year is God Is,
Mm,
and that is a adaptation from a play. And I also think
mm,
that's really interesting because it's like I think play. I'm not going to say they're like it's. I'm not going to say it's a niche audience because there is a wide, range of like theater lovers. But especially when it comes to like plays, especially on Broadway, not everybody's going to see that. So it's really interesting because then you have the previous audience for Is God Is, and then you expand on that, make it a film, and now the audience has a wider range. I think it's also really cool to understand how someone does adapt something from stage to movie.
no,
That's also
totally.
really fun. um because like the world is your oyster is what people say. Like you go from the stage of creating these ideas, and okay, we're on a road, but we're not really on a road, and then now we're on a road and we can expand. And how do we make these two characters still bigger than the program, now that they have this kind of like wider range. But I was thinking about that. Like that's really cool because that's true. For us, it's an original story. I mean, depending on who you are. For me, it was original story because I didn't have any previous knowledge of the play.
Hmm.
But then, for other people, it's like, oh, I'm glad that this is adapted. It's kind of same thing for book adaptations. That's like a big
No,
thing happening right
totally,
now, like
totally. It
booming.
was exactly. It was really cool because like even to your point about like plays being adapted. I don't know if you've seen The Invite yet. It's like the
Not yet,
new.
but I want to.
So I just watched it last week. No spoilers, but
Mhm.
it is. From what I understand, I think it's adapted from a play, and I think it was like a an international play. I can't remember like which culture it came from, but
Okay.
it was produced like and like directed like Olivia Wilde and everything like that. And while watching it, it feels like a play. And I think it's very cool to kind of see films in that way that are like, oh, it started in one direction and it kind of um, was adapted in a way that like we can enjoy it on a screen and like you can do a lot more. You can think about it a little differently, especially like using camera to kind of like inspire or like guide someone's perspective, right? Versus like a play, it's like, oh, you can see literally everything and anything, and you're kind of just observing the entire nature of it. It's like with film, it's like, oh, what are we looking at specifically, and how can we use editing to kind of like adapt that? And same with no, you're right, like with like novels and stuff, like Project Hail Mary, for example, right? I actually just listened to a podcast with Drew Goddard, and he was like writing. He's the writer of Project Hail Mary, and I believe he also wrote The Martian. And he was talking about like the process in which like writing The Martian was different from writing like Project Hail Mary. I've never read Project Hail Mary, but from what he was telling me, it was like the way that the novel was written. It's very internal monologue for the character, um,
Mm,
and
okay.
so he's like, when he read the book for the first time, he's like, this is such a good story, but this is like an impossible adaptation because film is all externalized. Like you're not ever like, unless you're just kind of doing like voiceovers in your head, but like who's going to watch a movie that's just all voiceover, right?
Voiceover.
So it was really interesting. He was like, how do we find ways to find his internal thoughts and externalize them in relation to like what you can see and experience and like the nature of the structure of the film, right? And I was like, oh, this is so fascinating to me. Like that's really interesting. And it was something before that I never really thought about in relation to adaptation. I think I used to be very like, oh, like everything's adaptation. Everyone wants to like just do the same things over and over again. But I'm like, oh, there actually is a huge challenge in adapting something well and
Yeah.
getting people to get excited about a thing and
Mhm.
let it like actually like land on someone emotionally and feel that way in the same way like Project Hail Mary did. And I think it's this era of adaptation, I think, is exciting, but it makes me more excited to know that we also have like original and fresh voices that are trying to either make adaptations or original things. So it like helps balance
Yeah.
it out. Whereas I think a couple of years ago, when it was just like biopics and adaptations, it was like, all right, like sure, I guess I'm kind of down, but like I'd like to see things that aren't specifically those things.
Yeah, because like you said, it still feels new, because of those new voices.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I think that's what's fun about it, where it doesn't feel like, oh, we've seen this before, all
Oh,
right, this has
totally.
already been done. It feels like, oh wait, this is a different vibe. Like, like you mentioned, I haven't seen the Odyssey displayed like that. I'm intrigued.
No,
you
exactly. And
know,
I'm like,
I know the story, yeah, but I'm still intrigued.
I'm very intrigued. I'm like, I was there trying to get 70 mil IMAX tickets. Did I get them? No. But
No.
like, I tried my hardest and I was so excited for it. I'm like, oh, this is something that I was very passionate about as a kid and I know the story. But like, yeah, it's interesting because it's Chris Nolan. It's like a generational talent that we get to hear from. Right. And I'm very excited to kind of understand what he has to say about it.
Yeah, and also just the cast too. I think him
Totally.
plus the cast, like, ugh, so exciting. I'm really excited how each of them kind of put their own takes on those characters that we already know
Mm-hmm.
about.
No,
So that's gonna be a
absolutely.
fun time. Yeah. Um, so in regards to like the standout movies for me so far, um, I really like. I had to scroll back to my AMC, so that's what I was
Mm-hmm.
looking at. So Hamnet technically didn't come out this year, but
Right.
I did watch
But
Hamnet
you
this
watched it
year.
this year. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would just say I just want to give a nod to that. I really love Send Help. I don't know if you got a chance to
Yeah.
watch that.
No,
That
totally.
was like unexpected.
It was it
Like I loved it.
kind of what we were talking about being one of those like why not films, right?
Yes.
I
Mhm.
like literally was free. I think it was like a Monday and I like texted some of my friends. I was like, "Hey, anyone watch like Send Help?" And we were like, "Sure." Walked in. I was like, "Bro, this movie was so fun. Like it
Yeah.
was ridiculous and it was like awesome and it had all the Sam Raimi like vibes and like
Mhm.
Dylan O'Brien and Rachel McAdams." I was like, what's there not to love about this? It's just like a
Yes.
good time. And it's like technically a horror movie, which is crazy
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, I'm not like the biggest horror fan, but
Mm.
I'm a newly minted horror fan. And
Ooh,
I've started
okay.
to kind of come into that and accept that.
Yeah.
And it was really fun for me to go into this like theater, and like I was watching it with friends who like otherwise would never watch horror. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is so interesting that like we're all just kind of down. And it was like the most fun and surprising time. Like it was great. It was so much fun.
No, I totally agree. If I were to say like if there was like we did like awards, most surprising movie, I would give it that. I didn't. It was one of those things. I was like, okay, let's watch. It's got Rachel McAdams, Dylan
Yeah,
O'Brien. I saw a little trailer. They didn't give a lot in the trailer, so I was like, I don't know what
exactly.
I'm going in. I don't know what this is about 100%. And then we started taking turns, and there's comedy moments and this and that. I was like, oh
Yeah.
wow, I'm like actually really enjoying this. Me and
No,
my
totally.
popcorn. Um, so that one you mentioned Hoppers. I really like Hoppers.
Absolutely.
That was also just like a let me just go.
Just
And
really fun time. Really fun
yes.
time.
Um, I literally have you can't. Oh my gosh, can you see Mabel right there?
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Wait, I love that.
I have a little Mabel. And then Project Hail Mary. That
Yes.
was one I got to watch in IMAX. Also, which was really cool. Very pretty film, by the
Mm-hmm.
way. Also, I remember watching it. I was just like, huh. I like this. Like
Yeah.
that's like one of those immersive feels when when Nicole Kidman's talking about like that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're like wow I'm in it. Um, the drama was a wild
Oh,
time.
absolutely.
Yes. I really like You, Me, and Tuscany as like
Mm.
a rom com lover. I think as a oh my gosh. I was gonna say reboot, not a reboot, but my brain can't think of the word. But Devil Wears Prada 2
Yes.
as a there's a word for it my brain can't think of. But as it coming back, even after all this time, I think it worked. And
Mm-hmm.
box office showed that it worked as well. I thoroughly enjoyed it. As not everything that's been gone for about 2 decades always lands.
Yeah.
So, as a Devil Wears Prada fan, originally coming back to it, that was a really good time. As I mentioned, Is God Is. We talked about Obsession. I'm not a horror person, but I kept hearing about it, and I said,
Mm-hmm.
Let's go in, and see what happens." Um, fun fact: the Sheep Detectives. I don't know. That's
Okay,
also
literally,
surprising.
I was gonna say, I was like literally about to say, like, Sheep Detectives was my like the trailers. I was like, this looks fine. It looks like a kids movie, and then like low key, I was like, this kind of reminds me of Babe, and I like love Babe, and I was like, maybe I'll go watch it. And me and my girlfriend were like, we really want to go watch it. Maybe like she really wanted to go see it, and then I saw that it was written by Craig Mazin, which I don't know if you're familiar, but Craig Mazin did Chernobyl and Last of Us.
Oh wow.
He's written like a lot of really good things, and he has a whole
Okay.
podcast about like writing, like screenwriting. And I was like, oh, this dude knows
Mhm.
what he's talking about. So it's like, oh, I like his stuff. Let me go like watch it.
Yeah.
I loved Sheep Detectives.
Did you cry? When I watched it, it was mainly all adults. Like
Yeah,
literally barely any kids. At the end of it all, the little not too much, but a little sheep cloud, everybody bawling and
bro. I didn't cry, but I
yeah.
did really love it. I was like,
It was really good.
it
It was
filled
really
my
sweet.
heart in a way that like I haven't felt in a movie like that in a long
Mhm.
time. And
Mhm.
yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, no, it was. I agree. I also didn't cry as well, but I was definitely surrounded by I was like, "Oh
No,
wow."
right? You're like, these are grown
um
adults. Like, this is wild.
I was like, this really, it was very sweet though. And I
Yeah.
think that was so for me. Send Help was like surprisingly chaotic, like more
Hmm.
chaotic than I thought, in a the greatest chaotic way ever. And then for me, Sheep Detectives was like way more emotional than I thought it would be, like way more sentimental. And so that was like that's a really. I'm glad it got its theater release because I
Yes.
could have easily seen that going to Netflix and being pushed to the
No,
side,
totally. Totally.
So that was a really solid one. And then I also recently watched Supergirl. So that's
Yeah.
my last theater watch recently.
No, that's
But I'd
great.
love to know what are I feel like I just listed all my movies. I didn't list
Yeah.
everything I've watched, but those are some of my favorites. What are some of yours?
I mean, generally similar to you,
Okay.
like loved Hoppers. I think I have a list on my letterbox that I started collecting like my favorite theater watches, and Hoppers is one of my favorite like theater watches. I think it was just like it was a really good experience,
Mhm.
like really good reactive moments that I think were so much fun to just like
Yes.
experience with a large group.
Hmm.
So similar with you, Hoppers there. The drama being what it was. Another fantastic theater watch where you're like sitting
Yes.
there, you're like, oh my gosh, am I a jerk for laughing? Like this is horrible.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like stuff like that. Shoe
Mhm.
Detectives as well. An Obsession, but I'll come back to Obsession. I just like I love Obsession so much. But
Okay.
ones that I felt like I really loved this year. 28 Years Later, Bone Temple. I don't know if you saw that or if you're a fan of
No.
28 Years Later.
So for me, horror is something I dabble. And when I
Mm-hmm.
dabble, like that's why I was saying me going to watch Obsession was like a big achievement because I
No,
definitely don't
totally,
watch horror in theater because I
totally.
even with Obsession I was like
Yeah,
hiding
exactly,
behind.
exactly.
So no, I haven't, but I also like knew that there was the movie before that.
Yes.
So I don't think I will. I think that one's a little bit more intense for me.
Okay. No, totally. I
Mhm.
think 28 Years Later. So like 20 Years Later, I think came out in like 2002 or something like that.
Mm.
Really good horror movie. That's just like there are scary moments, but it's like mostly about like humanity, and it's very heartwarming, and it's very like wholesome. And I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting this.
Interesting.
Same with 28
Okay.
Years Later. I think it was one of those movies where it's like, oh, this is a movie about like finding your purpose at the end of the world. Like this is like really, really cool. And then same with 28 Years Later. It's like, oh, okay, well, when the world has ended, how do you find friends? And like that's essentially what the movie was about. And I was like, this is the
Interesting.
most wholesome experience. And like I didn't cry, but I like got very emotional watching 28 Years Later, which I was like, bro, I'm here for like a spooky, like time. But like it was very heartwarming, really beautiful.
Interesting.
Just like an all-around like amazing surprise. So I really, really loved Bone Temple. I don't know if you've heard of this is another one, Nirvana the band, the show, the movie.
I heard
Um,
about it. Yes.
Absolutely freaking hilarious. Like
Okay.
another absolute surprise.
Mhm.
I believe it was based off of a web series. I think it was called Nirvana the Band, the show.
Okay.
That was like made on YouTube back in like 2009 or 10 or something like that.
Okay.
But highly recommend. It's the story is very predictable, but the comedy is hilarious, and I haven't like laughed that much in a theater, and it was just a very surprising time, like in a while. Like it was just
Okay.
it was awesome. It's basically like a Back to the Future like spoof, but not in a spoofy way. It was just very
Mhm.
fun and just a very good trip down like memory lane on like what we grew up with in like 2008 to 2010 and just like what life looks like back then.
Mhm.
Um Stuff like
Okay.
that. So Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie was really good, really funny. Going Blind is just a really funny time.
Okay.
And
On my
then
list.
other ones too. I guess Exit 8. I don't know if you heard about Exit 8. It was based off of a video game, and it's also horror.
Okay. See,
Another
I've heard
like
about.
in the
Mhm.
indie horror kind of vibe.
Mhm.
Based off a video game that was like an independent video game, but it was really cool, really tight movie, really interesting premise about a man in Japan trying to escape a subway like exit, and like certain situations go on, and it's just like this one location kind of horror film. So very independent, but
Mm.
like really interesting. Another thing again too, it's like I'm a newly minted horror fan. I Yes, it was scary, but at the core of it was a very like beautiful story and like had a lot of heart, and it was just about like like what does fatherhood mean, and like what is the like how do we actually like deal with fatherhood. And it was, yeah, just really interesting, really cool execution, really fun. um yeah, and then I guess other one too, not in theaters, this was on streaming, but Pizza Movie. I don't know if you saw or heard about this. It was with Gatton
Oh.
Matarazzo and
Oh wait. I remember seeing a trailer for this.
yes, it
Yes, I
it was
forgot all
really.
about that.
It was on Hulu. I
Okay.
believe it was written directed by the Britannic guys. They're like a sketch comedy duo that like worked at SNL. The movie is like the most insane acid trip of a movie, but it is like hilarious. It's probably the like if Nirvana the band, the show, the movie was the hardest I've laughed in theaters. This is the hardest I've laughed at home with like
Okay.
other friends, and it was just like the most unhinged time. And it kind of gave me very similar sentiments to like, I've seen Bottoms.
You know what? No, I haven't.
Okay,
And that's actually
I would
crazy
highly
because I was
recommend that
supposed
too,
to watch that years ago.
because Bottoms is hilarious, and I would say like Bottoms and Pizza Movie have the same unhinged humor, and it was
Okay.
like a great time, and like not in a very like scary movie type of way. It was just like
Mhm.
chaotic, funny.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think those are like a couple things that I found really awesome. Those are like some more like low key movies that kind of I think really surprised me in a lot of ways. And then like
Okay.
along with all the other ones that you mentioned, like the drama and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And I guess like once the Invite comes out on East Coast, highly recommend the Invite. Um,
Yeah, it's kind of wild because I was like, I thought the release was technically supposed to be last week, but I
mhm.
don't know if, with the theaters and there's just so many movies also
Yeah,
out. It came out with Supergirl as well. So
no, totally.
for me, I think I have to hunt for screenings because I was even looking to see for something tomorrow. And there wasn't anything for the Invite. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So I was like, maybe it's going to be something I have to wait till it comes home for. I'll keep looking.
I believe it's
Um,
like it goes wide sometime in July, but the select release is really
gotcha.
nice.
Okay.
That is the one thing that I am very grateful for being in LA for. It's like when
Mhm.
we get our releases, like we're one of the few places that get a select window. So it's
Okay.
like we'll get all of those movies that are on like a select release, and we're like, okay, like before they go full
Mhm.
wide, we've seen them like 2 or 3 weeks before. So
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So then there's hope then. So I was
Yes.
like,
No,
okay.
it's a good time. It's very, very
Okay.
fun.
No, I was
Um,
very intrigued. I like the way they did the trailer because there was this point
yeah.
when Seth Rogen's like, "You,
Yeah.
you, me, or whatever," and then as that happens, they're showing like the actors' names on the screen. I was like, "Oh, I
No,
like that.
totally.
Simple but effective."
Very
Um,
effective.
but no, tomorrow I'm watching Disclosure Day instead.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like I've been seeing trailers for it for months, and I was like, okay, let me finally go watch. One of those things of like probably not 100% my style as well
Yeah.
sometimes, but I was like, let's see. It's long as well. So
Mm-hmm. It is
it's like
long.
almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna watch that instead. But I am still on the lookout for the Invite when it's time.
No,
Um,
totally.
okay, you talked about Obsession.
Yes.
I did like a whole like movie recap on Obsession. That's how many thoughts I had on it. I was like, I have to come home and I dropped a YouTube video and everything on it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I would love to know, I don't know, was this kind of like your gem of the year so far? Okay, it
Yeah.
was. That's the vibe I was catching.
I fully think it is. And here's the thing.
Okay.
I like a like a very like knowledgeable baseball player walking up to bat. Like I called the home run. I was like, from that first trailer drop, I was like, this is my jam. This might be the movie of the year for me. And also, the trailer itself, I was like, this is the best trailer I've seen since Weapons the year before.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like horror that much. And I've become newly minted because of movies like Obsession and movies like Weapons and Sinners. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is crazy that these films have gotten me into theaters to watch these things. And it was like, yeah, I adore the movie. It is like a huge achievement to have. And I think we were kind of talking about like kind of trends in the industry recently, and I think it has been a very cool trend to see that like Obsession kind of falls into, which is this new sketch comedy to indie horror pipeline, which has
Mhm.
been like one of the coolest things to witness and just be a huge fan of. Because like I'm a very big like sketch comedy fan, and to see some of my favorite like sketch comedians and performers start like finding ways to tell like horror stories in a very indie kind of fashion, I don't know, I'm in love with it. It inspires me as a creative, especially to know like, yeah, some of these people are just like making sketches and putting them on YouTube, and like that's how they get discovered, and like they're
Yeah.
then afforded the ability to make a full length feature film. Like that's a huge deal. Like we're getting people like starting, I guess even going back to like Jordan Peele, right? It's like
Hmm.
dude getting to do Get Out, and then you have people like the Rocka Rockas who made like Talk to Me and like Bring Her Back, and you have other people like, yeah, like a Kane Parsons who made like Backrooms, making YouTube videos at like 12 or 13 and then getting to make an entire feature film at 19. Like that's crazy to do stuff like that. And then again, like Zach Kreger doing Weapons, and like making like, I think it was like The Whitest Kids You Know. Those are like their sketches and stuff like that. And so it's like, yeah, like the fact that Curry Barker has done these sketches and then was like, hey, I'll make like YouTube short films of like horror things, and like gets discovered through that, gets to make a feature, and it like works. And I think it's like all this practice that people have been using with their like sketch comedy and just like their YouTube videos to then turn it into like massive appealed films that people relate to and kind of understand and really enjoy. It's just a very inspiring time, especially as a creative and a like a filmmaker. Like a lot of my peers and friends were all like, we watched Obsession, we were terrified by it, we loved it, and we were all inspired by it. We're like, wow,
Nice.
I can't believe that like the industry took a chance on somebody like that, and like it's working and it's paying off, and it's been showing, like in the same way that like Weapons came out and Barbarian came out and like all these other really like huge films that people are resonating with. I think it's a very cool thing to see that Hollywood is starting to pay attention to filmmakers in a way that are like, oh, it's not just like YouTube sketches or like these silly little like hee hee ha ha's on Instagram and stuff like that. It's like, hey, these are actual adaptable skills that people can use to make feature films, and like kind of going back to what we were saying, the fresh voices that
Yeah.
can be the things that are the voices we listen to going forward in the future.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's so important because I think a part of that kind of like the audience being tired is not also like one seeing the same people. We
Mm-hmm.
want to see fresh faces and we want to be excited about new talent, and I think that's also happening, which is really cool.
No,
But then also
absolutely.
being able to get new voices with new ideas. Like, yes, we have Christopher Nolan, but like, okay, we have him. That's cool. We've had him.
Yeah.
Who are some other people that we can start getting acquainted with?
No,
Who are also
exactly.
going to be who we could be excited about. Literally, when you mentioned Jordan Peele, I was literally thinking of him because he's one of my like favorite examples of like, because I used to watch Key and Peele like everybody else, and I was
Exactly,
like,
right?
hold up, who's making a horror film? I remember I was
Exactly.
like, huh? Okay, cool. You watch and you're like, oh snap, that was wonderful. And so it's exciting because it's like people take those chances, and I feel like and those chances work, and I think especially for people in your case as well, it's like, no, you can give these other people more chances. It doesn't have to be the
Exactly.
same people you're seeing all the time. Like, hear
Exactly.
this person out, hear this person out. And I think it's really cool. Yeah, because I feel like
No,
it's that
totally.
time period where it's like, nah, listen up, there's some really cool people out there who have some really cool ideas to share, and give them the opportunity versus we were seeing that what people were just going where the money would flow,
No,
reboot after
exactly.
reboot. Hey, we could pull this person to make this thing, but I feel like because there's also these new voices and these people who are in a way kind of like they're ready to put their stuff out there, we're also seeing the love and care of film versus it just being thrown
Absolutely.
out. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's really cool to see that like these people who have been it's really interesting because being a filmmaker is one of those things that's like you really have to love it, because like in a lot of ways the like art sometimes doesn't love you back for the most part. And it's
Mhm.
like you have to love it so much, and it's really cool because you see these films like a for example, yeah, like an Obsession, like a Backrooms, and it's like this is crazy that you're getting people who would otherwise never watch a horror movie. You're getting them to get in theaters and like subject themselves to fear. And it's because it's told in an original way, and it's told in a very like fresh way. And it's because like you can tell even in the trailers and the marketing, whatever, it's like you care so much about this film. And it's like I think that speaks to a lot of people's sentiments, especially it's like, did we need another Moana? I loved Moana. Like,
No, we didn't. I can
I
say I can answer
I
that.
I love Moana. Like the first Moana. Did we need a
Same.
live action less than a decade after the first one came out? Like,
Yeah.
like, and the thing is you're talking to someone who like huge Moana fan, but
I see.
it's the thing where it's like, okay, are we gonna spend millions of dollars to make a movie like that, or are we gonna like break that money up, try and send it
Yeah.
to different people's way who can do a lot with a little bit, and like
Hmm.
really kind of change things and really try and like take chances on a lot of stuff. which I think is like a really cool and like very inspiring thing to hear. So I don't know. It's been like a very inspiring time just to be a filmmaker and to be a film fan.
Yeah.
And just to see what like everyone has cooking up like in the future. I think it's also one of those things where people are starting to pay attention to like independent film sentiments. I think it's one of those things where like now when you see an A24 like slate in front of a film or like a neon slate in front of a film, it's like people are willing to listen because it's like, hey, this might be the weirdest movie I've ever seen, but like I'm kind of down because they might be telling it in a way that I've never thought of. And it's like
Yeah.
that's really exciting to me that like the general audiences are getting on board with supporting independent film, which I think is like a huge thing. Like independent film is to some degree dying, and it makes me so much more happy to know that people are starting to observe those things and be like, oh, I don't know what it's called, but I like that thing, and I like like why is this thing feel like it has more love and more creativity than this like this really high budget like like remake wool of a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, literally the love and care. We can sense it from
Yeah.
the screen, truly. Because I think for me, my takeaways from Obsession was it wasn't just like, and I think that's how they've kind of gotten me with horror as of late too. Like with Sinners, and I didn't watch Weapons in theater, but I did end up watching it at home.
Hmm.
Um, it's like I don't just want to. I mean, some people do love a here's
Yeah,
a
like scare,
scare
right?
jump, yeah. But I want to like also kind of walk away like feeling something. Like
No,
for me, I
totally.
was able to like leave Sinners. Oh my gosh, first time I watched Sinners, bawling.
No, for
That's
real.
the one I was actually crying in. I was
I have
literally, it was
to,
like
yeah.
so bad.
There's a picture that someone took of me. Like, I went to go watch it with my friends where, like, I had to take a lap because I couldn't comprehend that. Like, I was like, I don't think I'll ever get that again in my life. Like,
Yeah,
I think it was like witnessing the Mona Lisa being painted. Like, it really, like, felt like a moment that I was like, I don't know if I'll ever get to experience something of this magnitude ever again. It just surprises you in a lot of ways, right? But
yeah.
it's a horror film with a core and with like a
Oof.
human like
Yeah.
connection and a story there. Like that
Hmm.
you're like, oh, I'm scared, but I'm also empathizing. Like this is insane to me that like, I don't know like many like there are horror movies like that out there, but I love this wave of horror films that are just like, hey, here's a thing that's scary, but also here's a deeper messaging and like we can get you to care a lot more and it makes it
Yeah.
scarier.
That was it because like even Obsession, I was like, okay, I was hearing. So fun fact, I have to go watch the trailer because I haven't even watched the trailer,
Oh,
and now you've
really?
got me thinking about it. Yeah. So what ended up happening was I hearing because Obsession had been out since like May, right?
Hmm.
And it was this month where I'm hearing people talk about it. There's still people talking about it. I let myself get spoiled because like I
Mm.
said, I don't do horror, so I need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
know what I'm going in for. Had my friend tell me some of the kind of jumpy, scary moments and stuff like that. Um, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go watch it because I'm really intrigued. Like people are having opinions on this or that or this character and that character, and I'm like, I don't have everything, but I know enough, to be prepared to go in. And the fact that I was scared and angry at the same time, like that's
Yeah.
perfect. Then I'm also confused on my emotions. I'm like, you have me feeling this is great because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so mad for her. Oh my gosh, he's making me mad. He's annoying
Yeah.
me.
No, totally,
Like,
right?
XYZ. Oh my God, friendship, this, so many layers. That's been like the word of the year for me is like, oh, the layers of film,
Yes.
where you're making me think. And it's not just here's a slice of cake. But it's like, ooh,
Exactly.
okay, what kind of, like there's here's a cake and here's also, a beverage and you got the like, you get a
Yeah.
whole
No, it's like,
platter of
here's a
like, I
slice of
don't know.
cake and it's also good for you. And it's like, that's crazy. It tastes good and it's good for me. Like, that's insane.
Right.
It's like a really good thing. And it's something that I've been kind of coming to terms with this past like year as I kind of like start to figure out like other things I want to make. It's like, what is the heartbeat through your film and what's the thing that you want to say ultimately at the end of the day? And like, yes, you can have all the really fun explosions and the jump scares and like the really cool tense moments and the really fun music and the cinematography, but at the end of the day, is there heart and like what is underneath everything, and can you get an emotional character and empathy kind of going along with that? And if you can, all of it only makes like the entire package feel so much sweeter. Like it's just like a really awesome experience. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just in love with this newfound like horror kind of vibe
Hmm.
that might be a new thing here to stay. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
it's got us in theaters. I really do think, going back to Jordan Peele, I think that's kind of what started it. At least for
No,
me,
totally.
I
No,
can't say
me
if it.
too.
Okay, cool. I was like, I can't say. I know he definitely did something that wasn't commonly done. For sure. I can't say, oh, like Jordan Peele started the way this goes, but I think Get Out being something where people were also kind of like in their kind of feels like of like anger, scared, but also
Yeah.
confusion, and the way he did that, I think that opened a lot of like, no, horror doesn't have to be one way, or it
No,
doesn't have to be,
totally.
a certain, path. And
Hmm.
in a way that also then opens up doors for us to be like, okay, I think I could go watch this.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
especially in theaters, because I just feel like
No,
it's more
totally.
intense.
It's more intense, and it just like that communal aspect. I think we all
Mhm.
like we've been missing that. It's like a
Yeah.
communal craving kind of thing. Like we all love to be in a room to like hear each other like scream and laugh and like cry together. Like it's
Yes.
just a good like it's good for us, I think, in a
Hmm.
lot of ways.
I agree. Yeah, because I always I feel like I never forget those fun theater moments when you get those reactions from people. Like
Totally.
even throwing back to Hoppers, I watch Hoppers in a crowded IMAX theater. I
The
watched it
way it
at the
should be.
yes, full. I went to the Lincoln Square one. That's
Oh my
the
gosh, I
AMC.
know for sure. It's funny because I've only heard like stories of the Lincoln and I
That's so
want
funny.
to so badly go and watch a movie there because everyone tells
Hmm.
me like, oh, of all the theaters in the United States, like that is the theater to go to because like the people are really
Yeah.
fun and
Hmm.
the crowds are good and like the
Hmm.
screens are really big and it's just like a really good
Yeah.
time.
I will say, okay, my mixed opinion. I don't tell people publicly, so but I'll talk to you after what my
Yes,
go-to theater is.
yes,
It isn't Lincoln, but I think Lincoln's solid. I think it has the best IMAX theater.
yes.
100% out, exclude the 70 millimeter fact. Like when I just go watch regular IMAX, it's so freaking large. Like
Oh man,
you're literally, the pictures that you see when people post about
yeah.
like it's that big.
Oh
It's
man,
you're just literally, if you're in the middle of that theater, you're saying excuse me for a minute before you get to the
before we sit
actual
down, that's
seat.
so funny.
Yeah. I would say that the other theaters are kind of regular. I don't know.
Mm,
So like you sit on the floor, they have recliner seats and stuff, which is nice. And
mm.
then the it's like this or like this, I guess, and then the screen is here, so you kind of sit below the screen,
Wait,
which
I love that.
okay, well then it's for you then.
I think that's so interesting. I think there's something
Yeah,
interesting about like looking up to the screen. That's so like, huh?
it's
maybe I haven't watched a movie that way.
really. Did you never go to the La Jolla AMC?
I did, but I guess it was similar.
Yeah, I think that's,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's the closest I could get to that experience, because I forgot my, as I was talking to you, I was like, wait, La Jolla is like that. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't,
yeah.
yeah, but that's how Lincoln is, where you kind of sit and look up to it,
Up
or
at
you,
it.
or
Interesting.
kind of eye level,
Uh
because it's
huh.
like this. I think that's how it is,
Got it.
seating wise, and then screen. But I think for me, I love kind of being in the up, and then really, in
Getting
the,
the bird's eye. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's my favorite part. But I do, their IMAX for sure is the best.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Okay, I gotta like check it out. I
I
gotta
hope
check
you
it
can
out.
see it at some point, especially like maybe something in 70 millimeter.
No,
Um,
totally, dude.
I didn't even try for the Odyssey because the
I
fight was
I
hard last year. Why are we
bro,
dropping theater tickets a year in advance?
I was there for 3 hours. Like I was
No.
on AMC and I
Jeez.
was like doing stuff and I was just like refreshing and like trying to do stuff at the same time. And it was
Mhm.
a fight. And at a certain point, I just gave up and I was like, 3 hours in, I'm like, you know what? It's never gonna happen. I'm just gonna get regular IMAX tickets. So
Yeah.
I did it. And I was like, this is a fun consolation prize. But I'm so upset that I can't see this movie.
Yeah. I feel you. I'm doing regular IMAX also, and I'm just like, it
Yeah.
is what it's hard to even get regular IMAX out here
No,
when it
it
comes
was. It
to,
was so difficult.
yeah, like because you being out there, me being like, we're in like the two bigger cities, so it's just
No,
hard.
totally.
We're in battle for all popular movies. So, but no, I hope you get to do that, because I feel like everybody should experience the Lincoln IMAX theater at least
Okay.
once. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a vibe. Literally any movie. Like I said, I watch Hoppers, and that was just like a fun time. So, because I think it's like hundreds of, well, not hundreds, I can't, but it's a lot of people up in there. I don't know the
Yeah,
exact capacity, but then everybody thinking of the movie as we've both watched it, those big moments that you talked about, everybody,
exactly.
oh, like,
Yeah,
having,
yeah.
it's just really fun. Yeah.
Oh,
So
totally.
that would be my rec. In regards to anticipated movies, I do want to talk about that
Yeah.
since we talked about what we've watched so far. We talked about the Odyssey a bit,
Mm-hmm.
as that's coming out within the next 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No,
That's kind of bananas. Yeah, the time is rolling.
I
Um,
know.
what are some other movies that you're excited to see coming up this year? I'll throw one in for July as well. Spider-Man.
I mean,
That,
yes.
yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I'll be so honest. I'm more excited about Spider-Man than I am about like Doomsday. Like, I Spider-Man is like my guy, and it's like I'm so excited for it. It looks really fun, and like Destin Daniel Cretton, who's like the director. I'm a big fan of his work and his movies, so I think
Yeah.
he's like has something really special to say about Spider-Man. It's like through Spider-Man, like what he gets to tell the world is like really exciting. So it'll be
Yeah.
really fun, and I'm really excited for that. Um, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I've been seeing the promo for it, and I think they're doing a really solid job of playing with the whole Peter Parker is kind of by himself, solo dolo for a second.
Exactly.
Um, I'm really intrigued on the direction they're gonna go. Some
Mm-hmm.
people have theoried like, oh my gosh, Zendaya's character is MJ. That
Yes.
maybe MJ is no longer at the end. I think that'd be a terrible decision, but that's been a
Oh, that's
theory.
crazy.
That's been a
I
theory.
do
Yeah.
think I was seeing rumors too that this is like the most emotional Spider-Man movie. Like, and I'm
Yes.
like, oh, I fully get that and I understand. I'm like, oh, you have a depresso like Peter Parker. Like, what is he has to deal with his feelings, and like it really is like almost like a coming of age in a lot of ways. So I'm really excited
Yeah.
to kind of see what that is. So yeah,
Yeah.
and like again, I fully love like Destin Daniel Cretton's work. He makes very emotional films. I don't know if you've seen Short Term 12. This is like a movie he made back in like 2011.
Okay.
Very intense and emotional watch. But it's crazy. There's like so many people in that movie. Like Lakeith Stanfield's in that movie. Brie Larson's in
Nice.
that movie. Ton of people in that movie. But like very very like emotional watch, and it's really cool to know that he can kind of toe that line and to like bring that to like a huge Hollywood blockbuster. I'm really excited to see that.
Okay, I put that on my list too. I'm gonna look at all
Okay.
these. I've been writing down
Oh,
things that
amazing.
you've been mentioning too. What other movies are on your
Yes.
list?
Resident Evil, I'm very excited about. I don't play the video games that much, but I have heard Zach Kreger like made a really cool film with this, and it's like, yeah, I think again like took a huge property that everyone knows and was like, how do we make this like an indie movie, and like made it very focused and just like very specific. And so the trailer, I was like, before a trailer, before a poster, I was already very on board after Weapons. I was like, oh, that's his next movie. I'm gonna be there. Like, I'll watch
Yeah,
it. Um, and so I don't know. I'm very excited about it. The trailer looked dope, and it was
it was
just very
cool.
exciting.
Yeah.
So Resident Evil, the one of the big ones I'm very excited about is Forgotten Island. It's the
Ooh.
um new DreamWorks movies by the directors of Puss in Boots: Last Wish. And I don't know if you've seen Puss in Boots: Last Wish, and if you haven't, I would
I haven't.
highly. Oh my gosh, Kivana, I'm jealous of you. I'm so jealous. It's it's the best animated movie I think I've seen like in the maybe the last decade.
Ooh. Okay.
It's so good, and it's a Puss in Boots movie, which is crazy. I was like low key, like, why am I crying right now, dude? But
There's tears. Okay, good to know. Last
very good.
wish.
So it's made by the same directors, but what's really exciting about this movie is it's a Filipino movie. So it takes place in the Philippines, and it's about like two best friends on their last day together before they like move away for college. And
I
it's
just
like,
saw this trailer. I'm so sorry to cut you
yes,
off. Yes,
no,
I just didn't remember the name. It's really colorful and really
yes,
pretty.
very
Yes.
colorful.
Okay.
What's
Got you.
so exciting about it is it's all Filipino folklore. So
Oh, nice.
all the creatures, all the kind of the traditions, everything in there. Even like their in the trailer they're like sitting on the hood of a jeepney, which is like a Filipino like bus kind of thing in the Philippines. I like watched the trailer and I cried. I was like, I haven't seen a movie with like Filipino representation this strongly in a way that I could like trust that this is gonna be a really like there was so much care put into this movie. And I am already very excited for it. The animation
Yeah.
style looks insane, like Puss in Boots. And so I just it's gonna be a banger, and I'm very excited for like us as like Filipinos to finally get like our win. Like I think
Yeah.
it's like time that we finally get a movie that kind of
Hmm.
represents us, and it's a really exciting time there.
It looks fun. It's so funny because I just saw it yesterday when I watched
Oh,
Supergirl.
amazing.
That's
Okay.
why I was like, okay, wait, hold on. It looks really colorful. It looks like probably gonna leave with some tears. It looks
Yeah.
like, once again, going back to it, it looks like it was put together with care. Like it was one of
Yes.
those things where you watch a trailer and you're like, wait, hold up, like let me put this on my mind plate for later
No,
because I'm like
totally.
I'm intrigued. Yeah.
Totally. And
Hmm.
it feels like one of those things because they dropped a trailer a couple months ago too. And they dropped a new one
Hmm.
recently. And it felt like in that first trailer, they were calling their home run already. They were like, hey,
Yeah.
like pay attention. We're about to do some crazy stuff. And I'm like, this is dope. Like, I cannot wait. So yeah, I think it's like August it's coming out. So
Okay, cool.
um
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Okay, cool. Because I was like, oh my
yeah.
gosh. Okay, because I literally have movies to watch by month,
Oh my gosh, that's so
and
fun.
so, yeah.
That's literally the best. I have a every January, it's a tradition of mine. I have a calendar. So I look for what is coming out this year, and then just based off of like what I've heard about the movie or just the log line, I add it to a calendar and like my release calendar. So like I look forward, so I know what movies are usually coming out when, and I just get really excited about it. I'm like, oh, I already know what I'm doing on that Thursday, and I'll be
Like scheduled months in
yeah,
advance. I love
exactly,
it.
exactly.
That's cool. What else was it? Anything else on that list? I know we kind of
Yeah,
talked about Doomsday, but you're like, when it
I'm
comes out.
excited. I'm excited for it. But, like we'll see. I'm curious what the Russos have to say more after
Yeah, we don't
Endgame,
have a
but
trailer or anything, so
no
we're still kind
trailer.
of, yeah.
We had like 4 mini teasers, but they were
Mm.
not really anything. So
Yeah.
that's yeah. So I'm excited about that. One that I'm very excited about is Wildwood. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for this, but it's a Leica movie.
Is that
Um, it's an
animation?
animated stop motion movie.
Okay.
I don't
I
even
think
know what
I.
it's really about. Like the trailers were just so beautiful, and I think
Mhm.
it's like it's in the same kind of art style of I don't know if you've seen like Missing Link or like Paranorman,
Paranorman, yeah.
but it's
Hmm.
like the same kind of studio that's done those films,
Okay.
and it looks beautiful. Very excited. Looks like I'll probably cry. Um, and then Godzilla minus zero, like that. I'm just like
Mhm.
absolutely hyped because minus one, I think it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. That was like the biggest surprise of the year for me at that point. So minus zero, I'm very excited. It's like the same team making another Godzilla movie. So
Okay.
um
Nice.
yeah, a lot of good stuff coming out. It feels like it's a really exciting time to just be
It
again like a film fan.
it is. I think for me, I have, what do I got? Oh, there's so many. Like you
No,
said, like you're
totally.
the fact that you had some on the list that aren't even on my list, and then I'm like, oh my
Dude.
gosh, wait, there's more than that. Um, but yeah, I have. So I, like I said, Spider Man. There's this one called One Night Only. That one's coming
Yes,
out
it's
in
like the new
August.
rom-com one of like it's basically like The Purge but like rom-com.
Yeah, but rom com. Yeah, I had recently saw they also had like their second trailer come out. I think within the last
Yeah.
few weeks, and I was like, okay, wait, there's more interesting. Now I have more questions, so I'm
No,
like, okay,
totally.
cool. Practical Magic 2. I
Yes.
think, kind of similarity with like Devil Wears Prada 2. We're getting something, after a good chunk of time, with solid leads. So I'm just excited for that. I also
No,
just love
totally.
spooky season.
Yeah.
What I'm really excited for as a book adaptation, Sunrise on the Reaping, Hunger Games.
Yes. No, absolutely, dude. Never
That
read
one.
it, but was a huge Hunger Games fan, so I'm very excited for this.
Prepare thyself. That's all I
Okay.
have to say.
Okay.
As someone who
Okay.
has read it, prepare thyself. I'm excited for that. Uh, I've never watched any of the Fockers movies, but I will be
Yes.
watching Focker in law.
No, totally.
I've been
New
I have
Grande.
AMC. I'm like, let's go. Hex. That
Yes.
is an animation. And then yeah, but now I'm like, yeah, thank you for reminding me. Forgotten Island was something that looked really cool on my list. I have seen the Wildwood trailer in theaters at some point. So I'm gonna look back at that because I think that was something that also caught my eye.
No, totally.
I've never watched any of the Godzilla films. Is this
Wait,
my
really?
time to
Okay.
start?
So I didn't watch any of the Godzilla films either, but minus one came out. I think it was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It was my
Okay.
very first Godzilla movie that I'd seen. I think besides like the one that came out like 2011 or something like that. But
Mm,
this movie, kind of what we were talking about before, like the horror things. It's like, yes, it's a Godzilla movie, but at the core of it, it's like this really like deeply emotional movie about like reuniting family. And it's
gotcha.
like crazy, bro. Like I was tripping watching that movie. Like I felt like I don't know. It was one of the greatest surprises for me because it was like, oh, it's like this it's like small little like Japanese international film, and I was like, no, this movie is massive and it's crazy. And it was like, I think it was only made with like a small team of people, so it was really cool that yeah, like it's a really great movie. And the fact that they got a sequel, like it's very
Yeah.
exciting. I believe they won an Oscar for it a couple years ago for like best visual effects.
Ooh.
And
Okay.
so yeah, it's very good. Highly
Exciting.
recommend.
Okay.
One more movie that I am very excited about too. I think the trailer came out last week. It was Clara and the Sun. It's like a new Taika Waititi movie. So it's like Jenna Ortega and I think I forget who else it is.
Amy Adams.
Amy Adams. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I was like, this looks really fun. And like I do love a good Taika, so
Mhm.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yes, that's another one that I just experienced yesterday. It's always fun when you're a regular moviegoer to be like, okay, new trailers. I love
Yes. No, I look forward to it, dude. I like it's funny because like this is also just like so nerdy too. Every morning, so I'm subscribed to a trailer like channel on YouTube. Every
I love
morning when I
it.
wake up, I like check which trailers just came out. And then so I can kind of like
Mhm.
I like see what's coming out and then like I'll add stuff to my calendar if I really like the thing coming out. So it's like a yeah.
Wait,
I'm like
I gotta
so
know what YouTube channel is this?
I think it's like a Fandango like movie channel like their trailer
Oh,
channel.
and they just always. Oh my goodness.
They
I didn't even
do
consider
post them
that.
a little later than the studios themselves post them, but like
Oh, okay,
it
but still
is
on
like
top of
it's
it.
still on top of it. So I'm like
Okay.
always just trying to be like aware of what's coming out.
Ooh, that's a good one because yeah, I always feel like sometimes I miss stuff. Or
Yeah.
like for example, like that's why I have a list now because sometimes I forget. Like I forgot which one you had talked about, and I was like, oh, Pizza Movie. I remember seeing the
Yes.
trailer for that. That's not a theatrical release, but like things like that where I'm like, I gotta remember to write this down or like
Yeah,
have
yeah,
it
yeah.
somewhere. So that's good because then I could go back to that as a trailer and be like, oh yes, that was one. Okay,
No,
cool. I'm gonna write that
totally.
down for trailers. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Isaiah. I'm
Dude, of
excited
course.
to even, get your thoughts on things coming out too further down the line.
No, totally.
Man, yeah, I feel like it's just such a solid movie year. Like
No,
last year was
really.
good, but like this one's like you have so many options
No,
this
totally.
time
And
around.
it's been a really good time and like we're not even into Oscar season yet, so like I don't even know what the regular like what they have up their sleeve for that. So it's just a really exciting time to be again like a cinema fan. Like
Yeah.
we're
I
being
mean,
fed well. It's been a good time.
literally, it's like everybody's got like the creative juices flowing,
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
things like that. No, seriously. But no, seriously, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I always love talking to you just in general, but also about like TV shows, film, things like that. Just to get a new idea, new perspective, which is
No,
always really
yeah.
fun. To the listeners out there, make sure y'all check Isaiah out. I have all of his information in the episode description. Make sure you're following me at the Introvert Social Hour on all the socials and things like that. Make sure you're subscribed to this podcast. Make sure you're also following and listening through and all the things like that in regards to updates. So you know when bonus episodes may come. So that's important as well. But get some sunshine, get some air, have an amazing week, and I'll see you next week on the Introvert Social Hour. Bye.
Bye.